All right. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Everybody get a chance to look at the minutes of the previous meeting from July.
Yes, sir. Move to approve.
Motion approved. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Financial report. Any questions or concerns for Ian?
Thanks for the update on chaotic.
Yeah, yep, so Catechit is all caught up now as of this morning. Dropped off a check.
And then, so they did announce the other day that they're gonna be pursuing selling. Are they aware that this needs to be paid back upon that?
I'm not sure if he's aware of that, but I can follow up.
So we should look at what the rules are on that, but I don't have the agreement from me, but I think it's if they sell it, then they'd have to pay this loan off.
I think so.
They don't get to keep making payments forever if they sell the business.
I'll have to
I
check
hope
into that
so.
and follow up.
Has to be, it should be in there, so.
Yeah,
Double check.
kind of loan would
Otherwise, I'll take a look.
get one of those.
Thanks, Neil.
All right. Next is our coordinators report.
All right, so I've included my report in your packets for today. Let's see. First item's talking about the REV team. I did mention last month that we were successful in getting the grant opportunity that we applied for. So we'll be moving forward with that, which is to put on a sort of workshop series for entrepreneurs here in Casson. And really the big push with that to start is to conduct interviews with entrepreneurs in town, just to see where they're at, how things are going, and then based on that, that'll determine the actual topics for the workshop sessions. I think we budgeted for 4 sessions with the Rochester SBDC, so there'll be more information coming out that as we go along. We do have quite a long time before we have to use all the funds, but just looking ahead, that's what's coming. And as far as Ready goes, I wasn't able to attend the Communities Council meeting for September. I was out of the office. But I did just hear from Kirk Boostrom the other day that there was an inquiry about some property that could be available here in Casson, so I gave him a couple options. Would be nice to see something come out of that, but I'll keep you updated on that going forward. Let's see. And then planning and zoning wise, not a whole lot going on there besides a lot of talk on fences. And then you'll recall from our July meeting, the folks from Schramm Real Estate came and talked about their proposed project and the TIF. So they're putting some more progress towards that, starting with some initial platting of the property to get it ready to officially split up and sell. And then the council did call for a public hearing to consider the TIF, so that'll be coming in December. So working with Mike Bubani from David Drown Associates to get him all the information that is needed in order to actually put together the TIF plan for consideration. Let's see, and then finally, just a couple of things. Later this week, I'll be going out to Madison, Minnesota for the Connecting Entrepreneurial Communities field trip. In the past, I've done their conference, but they kind of changed it up now, so they're going to put the conference in the springtime rather than in the fall like they had been doing. So I did include a little of their description of the project, so when I come back from that, I'll be able to give a report at the next EDA meeting, just so you all can learn about what I learned. And then after that, on Monday, Tim and I will be going on the Southeast Minnesota Together Housing Bus Tour just to learn about some new and exciting housing projects going around in the area. We're going to Austin, Claremont, and Owatonna. There'll be another report on that one as well when we get back. Any questions?
Thank you. Up next will be our city administrator's report.
A lot of things in there. I won't go through it. I won't read through it myself, but do you have any questions on that? You can let me know. One thing, Main Street is a potential focus for next year with some of our housing items sort of starting to wrap up. I'll pass around, I went to the Housing Trust Fund, I'll just pass this around, you guys can take a look. So, as you recall, there's one more lot that's available in the, on the north side of the new project in the Vale subdivision. That's kind of the overhead map, and then, basically, we're looking at selling that. The interested party is the Dodge County Housing Trust Fund. They're looking at 6 townhomes there. They're focusing on 3 separate areas, veteran units, workforce units, and then 2 units of affordable housing. So I think their plan is to transact that purchase later this year, and then they're going to be gifting that land to First Homes, and it'll be in a perpetual kind of a trust thing. The land will be, the units themselves will be sold for those projects that we've talked about. So, nice for us to be able to recoup some costs out there as well as having some additional housing options. And like I said, with that, I think housing is probably going to start to move off the radar for the EDA and for the council. That was a priority that was set several years ago. It's a strategic priority, and we have had some success there with new apartment complexes, single-family homes, as well as potentially with the Schramm project, some multifamily townhomes. So I think we'll be looking at priority setting, and one of the things that Ian and I have talked about is maybe looking at some more downtown revitalization. So I'm interested to see what Madison's got, so take some pictures. Any questions anybody has for me on that?
Thank you, Tim. Up next will be 6 of Swords revolving loan fund request.
All right, so I did include their pre-application that was submitted for your consideration. Let's see, so essentially they're asking for a $10,000 loan to put towards furnace and some of the interior build-outs at their new location at 33 Main Street West that they recently purchased for their business. So, based on the guidelines of the RLF program, I do believe that this falls within the eligible projects. So going forward, I would probably ask the EDA for a recommendation just to move it forward for further consideration by our loan review committee. We'd be asking for some additional information just to make sure that we're fully comfortable on granting this loan if we're interested in that. Asking for like a business plan or other documents just to ensure that the credit is there, at least to the point that we want it to be.
I'd like to ask, what kind of business is this?
It's a tattoo collective.
Okay, I didn't mean what it does, I mean,
Like a
is it a sole proprietor?
Yeah, it's a sole
Is it-
proprietorship.
I think that's what they've got marked on the
Yeah.
sheet here.
Number 4.
Okay, so the name of the business is the 6 of Swords Tattoo. It's not, who are we loaning to, I guess that is my
The business or the
question.
individual.
I mean, that might be something that has to be identified when we
Yeah.
go through the review of their documents.
Yeah.
Ian.
Yeah, but if you, yeah, yep.
Either way, doesn't James have to sign a personal guarantee on the loan?
If not more, yeah, I would think.
Well, and the other thing is, he's been in business already here for some time and then, was just renting that building.
Right.
So he's shown that he's sustainable.
Yeah.
It describes the business as a collective of tattoo artists, which,
Yeah, so like the other tattooists, they're not like his
Little-
employees, they just like share a
subcontractors
space.
is what
Kind of like
they
a
are.
hair salon where they
Yeah.
contract out the booths.
Yeah,
So to speak. They lease their space from him or whatever.
so but there is a business ID number somewhere.
Well, once again, I think that's what we have to identify. We want to make sure that we've got everything before
That'd
we...
be the next step.
Sole
Okay.
proprietorship.
So I'd make a motion to approve the pre-application to move into the official application stage.
I second it.
We have a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Maybe you can check with the I'm trying to remember now, was it Dan, were you on that subcommittee? Because I know Tom was.
For the loan?
Janice, were you on that one too?
I am.
Yeah,
Okay.
the loans is Dan and Janice.
Dan and Janice, okay. So maybe we can get a hold of them and see
Yeah.
when a day would work and get that paperwork back from Mr.,
Dummert.
I don't know how you say that, Gangary or something like that. Anyway, then we can kind of maybe bring that back in a month here or something like that for approval, if
Yeah.
if it meets the criteria.
Yeah, sounds good to me. Thank you.
All right, excuse me, preliminary budget for 2025.
Yep, so I did include the preliminary budget. Basically, you'll see that most of the items for the EDA are even compared to 2024. The only exceptions being legal fees and engineering fees, both of which are proposed to increase just to cover some of those expenses. As we've seen, those two items in particular have been oftentimes over budget compared to what we actually have in the budget for them, so.
That's part of the Main Street project next year being charged to EDA.
That's right.
So we have to
Yeah.
allocate to the accounts, yeah.
Yep. And let's see, council did already review the preliminary, but there's another opportunity before it actually gets approved in December? Yeah, December for 2025. Comments or anything about the preliminary budget?
We're good?
Okay.
Next will be our business retention and expansion course.
Okay, so this one is just something that I was interested in taking for myself. I just look for opportunities for further education every now and again, and this one came up. It's through the International Economic Development Council, and it's specifically about business retention and expansion. So it's like a 2-day online course, and then this is kind of in the same program as the basic economic development course that I took last year. So this would just be like a continuation of that series, and then if I were to take it, I would get credit towards a professional certification. So that would be another good thing about taking it for me. The cost for it, I was thinking that I could become a member in the IUDC, because at this point, because of my youth, I'm considered an emerging leader, so I get a lower rate to become a member, and then it would be prorated for just the rest of the year. So I think last time I checked, it would only be like $75 to become a member, and then I would qualify for the member rate, and then I would get it in before the early bird cutoff, so it would be $535 to take the course. And budget-wise, I do believe there's enough in the budget there
To cover it.
to cover it. Yes,
I don't remember, what was the cost of that Madison one?
it was $25.
Plus then mileage will
Plus-
come out,
plus mileage.
mileage will come out of the other line, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've got that in the budget. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Would you have to come back and present everything you
But I-
learned,
but I would
Ian?
come back.
You know, we want a PowerPoint or something at least.
Not online PowerPoint, no.
Okay.
Okay,
I think we get a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. And another question too, so the IEDC, are you planning on being a member again next year? Or is it just a one-time, just so you can get the discount? Because I was just curious what the cost would be next year.
I'm not sure what the actual year-long membership
Okay.
costs are, but I should look into that.
All right, just so we,
Well, take the class first, see if you find anything valuable about it.
yeah. And then look into, I'm just curious, so we,
Worthwhile group or not, so.
Yeah,
curiosity,
right.
planning ahead. All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Ian. Up next is other business or open discussion.
One thing I've got is talking a little bit about, now we haven't met every month, so I don't know if we'll have a meeting next month or not. You know, we don't have meetings if it's not necessary for your schedule, but, thinking about priorities for next year already, you know, if housing is coming off of the radar, what is something that, and, you know, Ian and I have been kicking around, like, you know, do we want to specifically go after something in particular? You know, a lot of people in town say, well, there's nothing for the kids to do, or there's not enough restaurants, or, you know, like, and I can't force somebody to come here, you know, I mean, and I wouldn't want to, but at the same time, if there's something in particular that, you know, you as members of the community see, like, hey, we really are missing X, Y, and Z, you know, I mean, we've had a lot of good businesses come this year. Egan came, you know, that's gonna be a good business in the fullness of time. You know, the new gymnasium, that's a good business. We've had a lot of good expansions like Quick Trip and stuff like that, but, you know, I think that's something that I'm interested in your feedback over the next couple of months, so into next year, where we can get an idea of what do we really want to target, if we want to target, or if we're kind of comfortable with where we're at. One thing, you know, I've mentioned is the downtown. City Council's talked about some, they're gonna be doing some projects next year, you know, with some, stormwater, projects and redoing the parking lot behind, and paving the parking lot behind the Legion there, and, providing some options for some traffic calming, you know, too. So, anyway, just interested to see what the feedback is, or if you've got, you know, we've got a nice active chamber now, so that helps a little bit. So, you know, they had a good activity. I was at the event on Saturday, and I think, you know, you were up there too.
Yeah.
Once again, Oktoberfest was about as warm as you can get. You know, last year it was like 90. I know I saw Janice there, and she was in the shade, which wasn't so bad in the shade. It was a nice day, it was beautiful, but it's just like, last year was 90, this year it was probably 85, and if you were in the sun, it was, but there was I think there were a lot more people I saw walking around, and, you know, it seemed like, you know, every year it's gotten a little bit better, and that's great. You know, those are good events, and, so anyway, just interested in the feedback from you all, and I'll be putting that out to all the boards that I talk to, the planning commission and stuff too, like priority setting. And council, we'll have some, you know, changes next year with council. We'll have potentially some new people, and have to figure out kind of what their different priorities are too. So, anyway, anything you've got today, I'd take it. Otherwise, you know, think about it, and we can come back to it and talk some more about it too.
I do hear a lot of, we need a restaurant, or,
Yeah.
you know, not a takeout, a restaurant, sit down, something in town. And I'm hoping that Daniels is
I haven't heard anything.
trying to,
Well, and that's the one that, you know, like I said, that'd be one where, if that's something we want to prioritize, maybe sitting down with them and
Yeah.
saying, you know, what are you thinking? Is there anything we can do to help? Because
Like,
there isn't
oh, they-
necessarily something we can, but if they have somebody new, we can meet with them and see if some kind of, you know, if they need a facade grant or revolving loan help to, you know, remodel or something like that, because they're, you know, yeah, absolutely, that's a perfect space that really should be, and, you know, to me, it makes sense for something to go in there. I mean, it's right off the highway, great accessibility, great exposure, parking lot's already there, don't have to pave anything, I mean,
I'm assuming that they're going to try to bring in that kind of business, because they were doing a deep cleaning here a couple of weeks ago. They found some visitors, not necessarily.
He said it's gonna take him another month to finish the cleanup.
Yeah,
A month.
yeah. They had some
It's pretty trashed.
bugs and whatever, and
Yeah.
Oh,
so.
great.
And I know that they did have someone who was wanting to look at it, but they said, no,
Not yet.
not until we've exterminated. So, and I will say the other thing that I hear, and probably because of my age, but, we need more senior housing, or newer senior housing, in our area, or in our town.
well, those are both good potential topics, for sure.
A senior center would be nice too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Anything else anybody has today? Otherwise, I guess, like I said, think about that, and, you know, we'll bring it up again before the end of the year here, and try to do some priority setting for 2025. 2025 already, holy cow. Seems like it's going, I remember 2000, and that's 25 years later now, and I feel pretty old, so there you go. Anyway.
Well, and the
Exactly, Chris.
flower pot that got hit down there, was that semi-driver drunk?
You know, I won't, you know, staff felt like whoever did hit that may have been. because it obviously was damaged substantially, you know, and we haven't gotten any calls on it, so I would say that someone, you know, obviously, but yeah, so I don't know, I can't speak to that, we don't have any video or anything like that, so.
Nobody was ticketed or...
Not that I know of, nobody was ticketed, no insurances were, you know, no insurance claims were filed or anything like that I know of, so, yeah, so I mean, who knows what kind of situation they were in there, but they definitely dragged it for a good block, so I mean, that's, you know, it's not just a bump, so.
Could've been somebody, you know, without a proper license.
Could be.
That happens.
True. Like I said, I can't speak to the
can't-
specifics there, but,
We don't have any cameras down there. Mayo doesn't have any or...
you know, I haven't reached out
I'm
to
sure the
Mayo,
police
so-
have reached out to every option they have, so I guess that would be more for them.
So I think, with just a note on those, so that was something as part of our traffic calming, wanted to see how that worked, and I think the council at their last meeting had, you know, overall, the POPs did what their goal was, to try and slow people down in those corners. It's worked pretty well. I think, you know, like I said, we were looking at that, potentially adding some permanent bump outs there next year. The pots will probably be coming off the street then. They'll be coming onto the, you know, if you go over to Dodge Center, you kind of can see on their main drag, they've kind of got graduated bump outs, and they've got flower pots there, and I think it'll be, that's probably what's gonna end up happening, so.
Even Manorville's got them now.
Sure, Manorville's got them up at the steakhouse up there, Hubble House, yep, they've got bump outs now on their main drag, so.
You don't even notice them.
No, I didn't notice them the first time, but then the other day I was up there for a meeting and I saw them, so,
I'm sure you
yeah.
would if you cornered, but if you go
Yeah.
straight.
Highway 57?
Yep,
Oh, I
right at
didn't
the
notice
intersection of the
it there.
chocolate shop, Hubble House, the cafe.
I'm
liquor
doing
store.
fast too fast, obviously.
You didn't.
That's the goal of them, though, is to...
No, you didn't hit the pot, all right, you know. Yeah, that's a good question, Ian. We think you protest too much there, you know.
He's not afraid to ask the tough questions. I'm gonna start that rumor next time.
I think that's all we have for today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unless there's anything else anybody has. Like I said, don't wanna waste anybody's time.
No, and then we'll just have, if you got any items for November's, if not, you know, any items, let Ian know. If we don't have enough for November, we'll see about December.
And you'll get that meeting set for the loan review committee too, so.
Yep.
So, great.
All right, take a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Dan.